This is a Hot Pie Original.
Let me own two horrific political predictions. One, I once predicted that Rick Perry, Pointy Boots Perry, would be the nominee for the President of the United States. 2 weeks later, he melted down. He turned into a full-on drooling buffoon. Donald Trump ate him alive day one in those debates, and then hired him, of course, later on. So it turned him into a total joke. All right, okay. I was slightly off on that one. I didn't know when he finally had to talk that it was not going to work. Well, number two, Rudy. Yeah, I thought Rudy would be Rudy. Here's what got Rudy. I'm going to make an excuse for my horrible prediction. So here it goes. Here's what got Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani was a charismatic, impressive, post 9/11. I don't know. George W. Bush maybe won the show, but Rudy Giuliani was a close second on how he handled 9/11. Publicly handled it. Right? Rudy, not long after, most of us thought there's the next president, and he was going to run. Remember, he started down that path, and then Republicans ate him alive. Back when the Republican Party was a party about morals, now it's hookers and stuff. But now, when it was about morals, remember how unfair it was? Because a lot of us were saying at the time and through the years, "Oh, come on, man! The guy's run New York City. He's largely cleaned up the town. Got credit for cleaning up the town." Now, I know that a lot of people would say, "Hey, you guys on the outside don't really know what it's like." I get it. But I'm just saying publicly, and then when he got in, they just started eating him up about divorces and gay friends, and he finally just seemed to say, screw it. And I remember saying on my show one time, I don't blame the guy for saying screw it. He didn't need this. And now, look at him. Oh, my gosh. I'm going to say it. Poor Rudy. And I mean it. Poor Rudy. Damn it. Trying to compare. Rudy is like those fighters. Man, they're really great fighters in the day. And then you see them when they're over the hill and they're just getting punched in the face and their punches are slow. And you just find yourself turning away going, oh, no, man, hang it up. You're getting your face kicked in. Lost all your money. It's just one of those sad stories. He's become a sad story. I feel sorry for him. He should have just quietly gone away and worn a diaper and just sit there. Instead, look what he did. His face literally melted down on TV. His face melted. Then he ended up in front of a porn shop. And now we find out his boss, who he thought he loved his boss. He cared for him. And now we find out, of course, that his boss did nothing but make fun of him. And it's all ending badly for Rudy. Ending horribly. What is Rudy? Give me a star comparison to Rudy. Is Rudy like Leif Garrett? Is Rudy Sinead O'Connor? Pick any over-the-hill fighters. Rudy's that, isn't he? You're watching this poor guy just getting his face kicked in. And, poor Rudy. Well, Rudy just lost his law license. As if anyone was going to hire him anyway. Like who at this point would hire Rudy Giuliani to be their lawyer? Really? I'm admitting I thought there's a lot to like about him. There has not been a lot to like about the competence of a man whose face melted. Remember the day it all started dripping down off his head? Who would even hire the guy? The only person that would have hired him is another lunatic, and that's Donald Trump. So Rudy has now lost his law license. John McClellan is the co-founder and creator of ATX Hot Sauce, now in all 50 states and several retail outlets as well. So what we are doing is we are walking through 4 different hot sauces. So the social media rock star chef walks us through the sauces and why you should buy, using Jeff as the guinea pig. And holding up pretty well, I might add. So
we had 10 flavors. I could have been mean, but I thought I'd start out a little bit small.
Right.
It's like starting with box wine instead of going right to Cabernet.
Remember, go to atxhotsauce.com. So we've walked our way through. We're at 4 now.
Beet heat, 5-pepper, smoked 5-pepper habanero, the juice. Now we're at honey bee hot.
Okay.
And the way we make this is pretty unique. We take garlic and we ferment it in natural honey for 3 months. So instead of using a saltwater brine for the fermentation, we actually use honey, which is one of the oldest fermentation techniques in like 10,000 years old. That's how they made mead. And we take the honey and the garlic, ferment it for 3 months, and we take fermented habaneros and we blend that all together.
Okay. Does this go well with the Cabernet?
This does not go well with Cabernet. So wine 101 is that we need to understand that hot foods don't go, well, that's golly,
Yeah, let's don't hurt the host here a little bit lighter.
Okay.
All right. So what's this again? I'm about to
Honey bee hot.
I think I've had this.
Okay, let's try
All
it.
right.
Right up front, you'll get the sweet and the garlic.
Got the sweet big time. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Wow. Nice.
Yeah, isn't that good?
Nice.
Not too hot. Give it a second.
It's pretty hot.
It's pretty hot.
Pretty freaking hot.
Yeah, it's going to get you here in about a
You
minute.
think?
We'll probably don't have enough time for it to really get you.
You think it's going to get me in a minute? Not now?
Maybe in 30 seconds.
It may have just hit me now.
Yeah, yeah.
You're having a good time with that, aren't you?
I really am. I
fact
wish
that I'm a lot of pain
wish
right
I
now.
brought the red ghost with me.
Well, in the front end, it's delicious.
Yes.
Now, a minute and a half in,
Your forehead's beating up just a
You
little
think?
bit. Yeah, just a bit.
all right, that's atxhotsauce.com. I'm going to curl up in a ball now.
Has been suspended from practicing law in New York State, essentially suspended for repeatedly lying about a variety of things. I want to bring in NBC's Tom Winter with more on the breaking news. So, Tom, tell us a little bit more about the decision and what led to it.
Sure, Craig. So this is coming down from the appellate division of the Supreme Court in the state of New York. And obviously, Rudy Giuliani came up in New York as an attorney, the former United States attorney. There was a complaint that was filed against him and against his law license, primarily in regards to his claims about the 2016 election. Today, a panel of judges came forward with their decision in a 33-page opinion. They say, in part, we conclude that there is uncontroverted evidence that respondent, that being Giuliani, communicated demonstrably false and misleading statements to the court.
It's Rudy. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Look what happened to him. He worked for Donald Trump and his face melted. Has anybody seen his podcast? Oh my gosh, it's the best. If you want to get drunk at night, I'm sorry. If you like to have some drinks and just sort of wind down and just go mindless for a little bit, I highly encourage, I shouldn't be doing this, I'm in the business. I highly encourage watching the podcast. He's sitting, poor guy, he's sitting at this desk, giant desk. And then he talks for 45 seconds, the usual stuff. Democrats suck, Trump the greatest, the usual stuff. But then he kind of freezes up because he needs to go to a commercial. And the commercial is some supplement or ED or adult diaper thing or whatever. And then he has this great segue and he's uncomfortable and he's trying to look around. Well, now we'll go to a commercial.
Make our nation safe again. Our God-given common sense.
And now, Rudy Giuliani with common sense.
This is Rudy Giuliani back with you with Rudy's Weekly Alert.
Ooh, it's an alert.
Today, I'm going to talk about a very timely issue, certainly for where I live, and in a way, for the whole nation. Tomorrow is primary day in New York City. It's the day on which the Democrat Party and the Republican Party choose.
All right, you get the idea. Then he goes to a commercial. Let's go to a commercial message. Poor Rudy. All right, so he lost his law license as if anyone was going to hire him anyway. I mean, do you really need to do that to the guy? Like, can we just leave him alone now? Enough, everyone. Back off. New York Supreme Court, just leave him alone. Just pull him to the side, hug him, take him to Trembling Hills, and leave him alone. Just leave him alone. Look what Trump did to him. The man is a shaking freak. He can't even see straight. It's reported now exactly what you probably assumed, and that is that Trump wasn't exactly the nicest guy to poor old Rudy. Donald Trump enjoyed tormenting Rudy Giuliani, mocking him for falling asleep in meetings and calling him pathetic and, quote, "you suck." Michael Bender's new book, Frankly, We Did Win This Election, the inside story of how Trump lost. In the 432-page book, I don't know why it's worth reading, but this part's kind of sad. Bender reveals details of the president's relationship with his personal lawyer. Trump, quote, would needle the former mayor for falling asleep all the time on flights. He said that Rudy, quote, only watches cartoons. Like you're talking about some third grade class. For his part, Giuliani seemed to crave the attention from Trump and would often physically move himself closer than other aides and advisors to sit next to Trump at dinner on the plane. Rudy never wanted to be left out, aides said. You were never supposed to get between Rudy and the president. If you did, look out. When Giuliani would walk in on the plane, Trump would barely look up from his newspaper. You know he's reading a hard copy. You know he's reading it. He looked up and usually would say, Rudy, you just sucked. You're weak. Come on, D. Poor guy. Everyone's picking on him. Now the Supreme Court's picking on him. Everything's gone sideways. Here's another exchange. When they got an argument, because apparently somebody hired by the Trump campaign said that Rudy's giving you really bad advice. Rudy yelled at Trump, they're lying to you, sir. They're all lying to you. Then, this is the attorney that hired named Justin Clark, an outside lawyer, decided, things aren't going so well for you, D, and Rudy's the problem. So they get into an argument apparently on speakerphone. Suddenly, the two men were shouting loud enough that it could be heard outside the White House. You're an effing a-hole, Rudy, Clark said. He'd spent most of 2019 in the weeds at state and national party roadblocks. This is this guy, Justin Clark. So he tried to get Trump to get away from Rudy. And then Trump decided in the end not to do it. And of course, the rest is history. Rudy's face melted. Then Rudy had a news conference outside of a porn shop. And then he lost his law license. Poor Rudy. I mean it. It didn't have to end this way. It did that. The fighter that you had to watch go back in the ring, you knew that one last time, that over-the-hill fighter, you said to yourself, please don't go back in there. You're going to get punched 7,000 times. And sure enough, look how it's ending.